I was about to buy my first house, but I didn't tell my boyfriend. And now I don't know if I'm protecting my future or ruining it. I've always been someone who plans, not in a type A spreadsheet for everything kind of way, but more like, I just need to feel safe, grounded, like I know where I'm going and how I'll get there. It's something I think I picked up from growing up with a single mom who never knew how we'd pay rent from one month to the next. Watching her scramble to make ends meet while pretending everything was fine taught me early on that security doesn't just happen. You have to build it, brick by brick, choice by choice. That's why when I turned 28 last year, I started seriously thinking about buying a house. I know that's not exactly normal these days. Most people my age are drowning in student loans. Rent prices are ridiculous, and buying a home feels like some fantasy leftover from a past generation. But I'd been saving for a long time. I've had the same stable job for 6 years now, and I live pretty frugally. No car payments, no designer anything, no splurging unless it's for something that lasts. I'm the kind of person who reuses Ziploc bags and air dries laundry to save money on the electric bill. So yeah, I was ready, or at least as ready as anyone could be. There was just one problem, my boyfriend Daniel. We've been together for 4 years. We met through friends, started dating not long after, and moved in together at the 2-year mark. He's funny, laid back, and always makes sure I eat when I get too stressed at work. He's the kind of guy who gets along with everyone, even my mom, which, trust me, is no small feat. But when it comes to money, we're complete opposites. Daniel's never been good with finances. He doesn't save, he doesn't budget, and anytime he gets a bonus or extra cash, it's gone within days. New gadgets, game consoles, sneakers he never wears. He's not reckless exactly, more like financially immature. He pays his bills, but just barely, never on time. And anytime we talk about the future, especially when it comes to buying a house or saving for something big, the conversation sort of dies or turns into a joke. Like he's allergic to responsibility. I love him, I really do, but I've spent years quietly worrying about whether we're truly compatible long term. I always hoped he'd eventually grow into adulthood, that something would click and he'd want to build something solid with me. But that moment never came. So when I got pre-approved for a mortgage earlier this year, a loan, I didn't tell him. Not because I wanted to hide it, not because I wanted to deceive him, but because I wasn't sure how to include him, or if I should. We live in a rental apartment together, split everything 50-50. He has no savings to contribute, no credit worth backing a loan. I knew deep down that if I waited for him to catch up, I'd be waiting another 5 years, maybe longer. And I just couldn't do that anymore. The idea started small. I'll just browse houses online. Then I'll just go see 1 or 2 with a realtor, just to get a feel. Then came the day I walked into this quiet little fixer-upper in a sleepy neighborhood outside the city. Hardwood floors, sunlight in every room, a backyard with actual space. The kitchen needed work, sure, and the bathroom was basically stuck in 1987, but something about it just felt right. Like mine. Like home. That night, I lay awake in bed next to Daniel, silently running numbers in my head. Down payment, inspection, renovation budget. I could do this. I could do this, on my own. But the thought filled me with more dread than excitement. What did it mean that I didn't want him on the deed, that I didn't even want to tell him? What kind of partner does that? And yet, what kind of partner lets someone they love put their future on pause for years, just waiting for them to grow up? The next morning, I put in an offer, quietly, without saying a word. And now it's been 2 weeks. My offer was accepted. The closing date is set. The paperwork is almost done. And Daniel still doesn't know. Every day I wake up with a pit in my stomach. Guilt, fear, excitement, all tangled together. I watch him scroll through Reddit or play games or talk about someday plans we both know he hasn't thought through. And I wonder, am I being cruel? Am I being smart? Can both be true? It started with little things. I'd find myself pulling away just slightly every time Daniel brought up a future that included the 2 of us. He'd casually mention how cool it would be to move to the mountains someday, or maybe live in another country, and I'd smile, nod, pretend to dream with him. But deep down, I'd already signed the loan documents. Deep down, I knew where I'd be living 6 weeks from now. Every time I looked at him, I felt like I was living 2 lives. In one, I was still his girlfriend, the one who split rent, helped pick out curtains, made dinner when he forgot to eat. In the other, I was a woman buying a home alone, starting a new chapter that didn't include his name on the mailbox. The guilt was constant. It showed up in small, subtle ways, washing his dishes before he could get to them, picking up coffee for him without being asked, laughing at jokes I didn't find funny anymore. I was trying to make up for something he didn't even know was happening. But as the closing date crept closer, it became harder to pretend. The house inspection happened on a Thursday afternoon. I told Daniel I had a work meeting and took a long lunch. I met the contractor, took measurements, ran my fingers along the chipped window frames, and planned where the bookshelf would go. I could see my future taking shape in the dust and peeling paint. I stood in what would be my bedroom and felt calm, peaceful, like I was finally carving out something just for me. Then I got back to our apartment, and Daniel was sitting on the couch eating cereal at 4 p.m., talking about how he might quit his job because his boss was kind of a dick. I felt something cold in my chest. Not anger, not pity, just distance. I think that's when I realized the truth I hadn't been willing to face. I wasn't building this house without him because I couldn't include him. I was doing it because I didn't want to. But still I hadn't said anything. Until one night, 2 weeks before closing, we were out with friends. Just a casual dinner, some drinks. And someone, a friend of a friend, started talking about real estate. How hard it was to get approved these days. How competitive the market had become. And then it happened. Daniel out of nowhere said, "Oh, when we buy a house, I'm definitely putting a hot tub in the backyard." Everyone laughed. I forced a smile, but my stomach twisted. He kept going drunk on the fantasy. We'd get one of those smart homes, right? With the voice-activated stuff. You'd be the one making the plans. Obviously, I suck at that, but we'd totally do it together. Together. That word hit me like a punch to the ribs. I sat there, cheeks flushed, heart pounding, wondering if anyone could tell I was lying by omission. I'd already bought a house. It had no backyard, no hot tub, and absolutely no space for this version of together. That night, lying in bed with him snoring beside me, I opened my phone and looked at pictures of my house. Empty rooms, bare walls, so much potential, and no place for him. I wanted to say something. Every part of me screamed to just get it out. Tell him, but what would I say? Hey, I bought a house and didn't tell you. Also, I'm not sure I see you in my future the way you think I do. So instead I kept quiet, again. I carried the secret like a weight in my chest. Every day felt heavier, and all the while he had no idea. No idea that I was spending weekends meeting contractors. No idea that I was measuring furniture for rooms he wouldn't live in. No idea that I was leaving. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. It happened sooner than I thought it would. We were in the middle of folding laundry on a Sunday afternoon, something so mundane, so utterly routine, that it still stuns me how quickly everything cracked open. I was pairing socks, half listening as Daniel scrolled through his phone when he suddenly said, "Babe, check this out. This house just went on the market like 5 blocks from here. Cute front porch. Needs work, but I could totally see us in a place like that." I froze mid-fold. I don't even remember what I was holding, maybe a towel, maybe one of his t-shirts, but my hands went still, my throat tightened. I glanced at the screen. He was showing me a house we'd never buy, a future we weren't building. And I just broke. "I need to tell you something," I said too quickly, too sharp. He looked up confused. "What's wrong?" I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't plan it this way. I didn't want it to happen like this, cold laundry between us, the smell of detergent in the air, and my whole future waiting to be spoken out loud. "I bought a house," I said. Silence. He blinked. "What?" "I bought a house," I repeated slower this time. "On my own, I got approved. I put in an offer. It was accepted. I close in 2 weeks." The words hung in the air like smoke, thick, choking, impossible to ignore. His face went pale, not angry, not sad, just blank. Like he couldn't quite process what I was saying. "You bought a house," he repeated, voice flat. I nodded. "Yes." "With who?" "Just me. It's in my name. All of it." He laughed, but it wasn't funny. It was the kind of laugh that comes when your body doesn't know what else to do. "So you didn't even talk to me about it, not once." I opened my mouth, then closed it. What could I say? That I didn't trust him with money, that I didn't trust him with me. I didn't know how I said finally. I didn't want to fight, and I didn't want to wait anymore. He stood up, walked a few steps away, rubbed his face. When he turned back, his expression was darker than I'd ever seen it. "So what, you're just leaving me?" "No," I said quickly. This doesn't have to be the end. I needed to do this for me." He laughed again. This time it hurt. "No, you did this without me. Don't try to soften it." And then something in his voice cracked. 4 years, and you didn't think I deserved to be part of the decision." I looked down. My hands were still holding that stupid towel. "I didn't think you were ready." His silence in response said more than any argument ever could. We didn't yell. There were no thrown objects. No slammed doors, just space, huge, unbearable space that suddenly opened between us, wide enough to swallow everything we'd ever built. He slept on the couch that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet hum of the fridge, and wondering if this is how relationships really end, not with betrayal or cruelty or one big dramatic moment, but with mismatched timing, with two people quietly outgrowing the same dream. The next morning, he didn't speak much. He showered, got dressed, left for work. No goodbye, no kiss, just silence. That evening, I found him sitting at the kitchen table with a beer in hand, staring at the counter like it held all the answers. "I'm not mad," he said finally without looking at me. "I'm just hurt." I sat down across from him. "I didn't mean to hurt you," I said. "I know," he replied, "but you did anyway." Another long pause. Then he asked, "Do you even want me in this new life of yours?" I didn't know what to say. I wanted to say yes, the easy yes, the comforting yes, but I couldn't lie anymore. So I just said I don't know, and I watched the answer settle in his face like dust on a windowsill, quiet, inevitable, and impossible to ignore. We didn't break up that night. There was no official end, no suitcase by the door, or teary last hug. We just faded. The days that followed were quieter. He was still there physically, but the warmth between us had cooled. Our conversations were shorter. Our laughs, when they came, felt like echoes of something we used to have. We started avoiding each other without meaning to. Little things, different sleep schedules, separate meals, headphones always in. We were roommates playing pretend. I moved into the house 3 weeks later. He helped me carry boxes to the car. He didn't say much, just lifted past packed. The silence between us had evolved, less tense now, but heavier somehow, as if we both understood what this move really meant, but weren't ready to say it out loud. When we were done, we stood outside the apartment. I thanked him. He nodded. Then just before I left, he said, "I hope the house makes you happy." I wanted to say something back, something meaningful, something that told him I hadn't stopped loving him, even if I had stopped waiting for him. But the words never came. So I just said, "Take care of yourself." And that was it. No dramatic goodbye. No closure. Just two people standing on opposite sides of the same decision. Now I live alone. The house is quiet, but it doesn't feel lonely, not yet. Some mornings I still wake up half expecting to hear him in the kitchen. Sometimes I almost text him a photo of a renovation update or a funny story from the neighborhood. But I don't, because I know if I do, it'll mean I'm not ready to let go. And maybe I need to be. Was I wrong to do it this way, to put myself first, to walk forward alone, instead of dragging someone with me? I still don't know, but I do know this. Sometimes love isn't enough if it doesn't grow with you. And the hardest part isn't leaving someone behind. It's realizing they were never really walking beside you in the first place. Have you ever had to choose between love and your own future? If this story made you feel something, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you found yourself in these words, even just a little, consider liking the video, subscribing, or sharing it with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Because sometimes the most personal stories are the ones that connect us the most. Thank you for listening.